Hey, everybody. Hope all is well with you. Glad that we're co working together again. Dr. William Clark here. We're just going to focus on a couple of things today relative to our co working. And I'm going to be focusing on, let me change the camera here. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to be focusing on planning and more planning, right? Because one of the things I've learned in business, running a nonprofit, running my own business, consulting clients, is the importance of making sure that we are constantly in plan mode, right? We're constantly building this infrastructure to support our clients even more and to provide the resources that they need to do their jobs and to serve their customers. So, our ability to do that is based upon this constant process of planning and engagement and being very intentional about that. So, with that being said, I'm going to engage in some planning on two fronts. We got things going on for our church. Where I am a senior pastor there, and also for our customers. So I got more products to develop and design, more tools, more work products that we're producing for our customers, present and future customers. So we are in this mode of planning. So with that being said, I'm going to cue up the music and we're going to get to work. And as you are streaming this, get to work too. I'm here for the journey. I'm here with you. This is why I'm doing this. I'm doing this because I remember not too even several years ago. I remember there was a moment when we went full blown into the business. And this was not my first business. But we went full blown into the business. And one of the things I desired and I missed, partly because I'm an extrovert, and I love teams and people and mindsets and people who have creative thought. I remember feeling like, man, I wish there were some people I can share these moments with. And then I wondered if there was a co-working space like this. I think some of this did pop up during COVID, but I was in a different situation and I was kind of already doing this with my teams. So I knew the power of this and I knew the impact of this. But we're here now. And I'm hopeful that this is a partnership that you can feel good about and that can meet your needs and serve your needs as you are on your grind, building the business, the nonprofit, the system, the program that you are looking to put out into the world. And so with that being said, let's get to work. Oh, and as we're getting to work, I want to let you know that we're going to be coming back here and there, just cutting in, sharing thoughts, things that we've learned, what we're learning, what I want to share with you. So stay tuned, watch and work with me. Listen to, I think these are ad-free music tracks in the background. So not ad-free, but royalty-free. So we're all set there. But let's get to work, y'all. See y'all on the flip side.
mean, it's crazy to think about it. Like, it used to cost millions to advertise on TV, and now because of streaming, it's $50. I mean, you can advertise on
All right, while we're going through this, I want to pause here, right? In the chat, in the comments, let me know, how are you using AI in your business? How are you using AI within your organization? How is it having an impact, if at all, in the work that you're doing? Let me know. Let's talk about it. All right, so let's talk about it a little bit. Where we're talking about AI, the power of AI. How are you using it? So obviously, at the time of this particular streaming session, what we're noticing is that AI has kind of taken a very strong position in our culture, and it is coming on strong. It's still under development, and so it is still kind of an unknown entity as it relates to how it shows up in business. However, folks are figuring it out. One of the things I'll share, and I haven't talked about this a lot since I've been incorporating AI, but I think one of the known things about AI is that if used properly, it can certainly do a lot of good in your business and your work. And the thing about what's happening with AI is that we're able to leverage AI to think faster, think more expansively, think more creatively, accomplish more. In some cases where appropriate, AI is definitely a useful tool to help you process ideas that you just could not process on your own, or when you are feeling like there's no one to talk to about stuff. AI is certainly there to help process with you if used smartly. And again, look, we talked about at the top of this stream what my desire was and vision was when I launched and this particular business, and what I wanted to see. It was all about co-working, not for the sake of just being around other people, but for the sake of being inspired by what others are saying and doing, and watching them and picking up loose information that they're just dropping through the course of their work. And this is what's happening, where pausing a bit from what I'm doing to share something and to spark conversation. So I hope that you're figuring out like the fit for you. But I gotta tell you, man, if you're utilizing AI smartly, it can help you put together some concepts that can really be helpful on your journey. So in the comments, in the chat, talk about it's too big. How big is the file? Talk about how you're using AI and inspire somebody. In fact, inspire yourself. Talk about it. How big is this file? Ooh, that's kind of big. kind of struggle with when it comes to really growing their business is realizing they can't do it by themselves. And so we're kind of in the middle of this discussion about AI and technology and how to utilize it. I think one of the things to think about is how can you leverage AI to help you. And how to leverage AI to think with you and not for you. Right? Because that can be such a huge issue for a lot of folks where the way that they're utilizing AI, it becomes kind of this tool they use in place of their brain. The reality is you're an expert, and you're an expert at the things that you have studied and created over time. So you have to feed AI the information it needs to help produce the outcome you're looking for. If you're utilizing AI to do something for you and you trust all the information it produces without one vetting it, and number two, even if you vet it, being clear with the fact that what it may produce may not be consistent or accurate with what you know for sure. Have the AI in its place, whether it's AI like ChatGPT, which is kind of the rage right now, Perplexity, AI like autocorrection in your email, Grammarly, right? Sometimes some things do seem like, hey, let's just rely on AI to do this. The truth is, it may not be the way you want to think. Like, here's a great example. All my emails have a particular opening and statement that I like to make because I make that statement in real life. And the statement is, hope this email finds you doing well. I really do. I really do hope, no matter what we're getting ready to talk about over email, I hope this email finds you doing well and amazing. Right? I hope that the good Lord is indeed blessing you. I know He is. I know that things are pretty solid in your life because you're here reading this message. So I do hope this message finds you doing absolutely, absolutely well and stunning. And so one of the things that I can tell you from what I remember is that AI used to have a huge problem with me writing it the way I did. I wanted my emails, and I still do. I want my emails written in a way that I communicate, obviously, with a business tone attached to it. But something personal like that, like I hope this email finds you doing well, AI spent a lot of time trying to correct, how that sounded and how it came across and whatnot. And it's like, nope, cancel. And eventually the AI learned, I'm not budging on that particular line. I'll budge on the other stuff because, maybe how I framed this sentence isn't in the right tone to my customer. Maybe it's not in the right frame of reference to what we're talking about. Yeah, okay, cool. But let's adjust that. But that one line, I know what that one line has done for me throughout my career. And I'm not going to let you correct that. So AI has to play a role in your business, in your life, but you have to dictate what that role is. It can't just be do everything for me. So that's something to think about, y'all. Like, again, keep going in the chat. What are your thoughts? How does AI play a role in your business? How does it play a role in your life? How does it play a role in the work that you're doing? Let's talk about it. as part of this thought process too, it is important to remember that while AI has a role to play in the work that you're doing, the humans that are in your life matter just as much, and your ability to engage them and to work with them and to partner with them means a lot, right? So when you think about building and launching your business and getting it off the ground, and you have the concern of, hey, I have a team. First of all, that's very practical, very, very practical. But as a part of this, I want you to be mindful of the fact that, yeah, there are ways to get around this. And part of the solution is realizing that your team is not just going to be people that are on your payroll eventually, or people that kind of show up to be a part of your journey. Your team includes the apps you buy, the subscriptions you have, the tools you use, AI. And if it comes down to humans that you need involved in your team, I am going to strongly recommend that you learn how to leverage team members from the VA community, virtual assistants. It's going to be very transformational for you if you learn how to utilize VAs. This can completely add an impactful jolt into your business if you learn how to use AI VAs effectively. And there are techniques there that you can utilize. So just to give you a couple, right? You want to look at VAs from Upwork. You want to look at VAs from Fiverr. You want to look at VAs from online.ph. I do want to shout out several companies. One that I've worked with called Pyro Planning. You want to think about Time Etc. You want to think about Belay Solutions. You want to think about Zurgical. I've worked with all those companies. No promo here, but just, I worked with all those companies. And those particular companies have been instrumental in helping fill a need. They've helped fill a need, and they have provided staff and resources to me that have been transformational. And you can find all types of solutions in partnership with these groups, because what they do all day long, their core service, their core business is to find staff or human resources to fill a particular need. And this can be powerful. This can be super powerful for your business. If you have a very acute or specific need, you can work with other groups. So I'm currently working with a group called Pinji. And Pinji is a group that is a graphic design company. And this has been such a difficult challenge for me to find a graphic design company that I liked and that was in the right price point for me. There are much more expensive solutions, cheaper solutions too. And some may say, well, why don't you just go to Fiverr or Upwork? I've tried that personally. That did not work for what I was looking for, because what I was looking for was to add somebody to the team, and to do so at a price point that did not blow my budget. And if you look at the number of products you're producing on a per month basis, an individual like you're hiring from Upwork or Fiverr might not be within the cart, be within the budget for you. So then it quickly becomes expensive. So at the end of the day, you want to look at solutions that can allow you to have something similar to an employee setup, but without having the employee setup. So what does that look like? How does that work? Yeah. So how does that work? What does it look like? And how do you utilize those VA solutions to help you get to where you're trying to go? So at the end of the day, you're gonna have to mix it up with the use of the VAs, the use of AI, and all of it. I think can be super powerful for you as you are exploring the right type of solution that can make sense for your business. I was trying to bring my iPad in here. I was going to sketch out some stuff here into the room. Don't know if it's going to work. Let's see if it's going to work. I'm not sure that it's going to work. Oh man, it's a missed opportunity. Or let me just here. Maybe there's another way for me to do this. All right, let's see if I can actually. All right, so it's popping up for me. All right, cool. So y'all should be able to see this in a minute. So we were talking about how to utilize tools that, I don't think I'm gonna need this. Hold on, let me get out of this, y'all. So we were talking about utilizing the tools that can help you be more effective, right? So we're talking about the power of AI. We're talking about the power of VAs. And the VAs represent kind of this humanistic support you need. And so we talked about the multiple VA companies, Pyro Planning. We talked about Zirtual. We talked about Time, etc. We talked about Upwork and Fiverr, right? So between these tools, right, which have humanistic elements, and then the VAs, which bring human elements too, this ultimately creates for you a team. Right. And that's important for you to understand. So when you're starting your business, this is probably the most affordable option for you. Right. Because you're going to need some affordable options to help you start thinking, right, and developing thought bubbles and to start executing. Right. So AI becomes a very helpful tool in that way. Your ability to leverage AI is going to make a significant difference. I mean, whether it's like simple things like, so we talked about ChatGPT, but something like Grammarly, right, that does editing for you, depending on the work that you do, can be super powerful in helping you understand how to write something properly and send it out properly to your customers. So we got chat, obviously, which is powerful. If you're into videos, Opus Clips, huge, right? Sending out clips of long form content can make a huge difference, right? So we'll probably use portions of this live stream, chop it up, and put it on Opus Clips, and so you have smaller bite-sized things that go into different social media feeds. What else? One of my favorites, Otter.ai, transcription, right? That can record all your meetings. Asana is not an AI platform, but they have AI elements, right? And so those things help you do your job better. And AI is showing up in all types of places and spaces. And so it's really important for you to be thoughtful about how to utilize AI, right? But then when it comes down to this, if you need a human on your team, you want to look at these VA companies, because humans can then be hired to show up. Now, one of the reasons I started utilizing VAs, because one, you get staff really fast, right? So you can get them fast. But the bigger reason I was utilizing VAs was because cost, right? It wasn't as expensive as hiring directly. And the other reason was it became a very credible and fast forming HR department for me, right? So when I did not know, when I didn't have the capacity for my own HR department, the VA companies became that for me. And that was huge, right? So now, as an HR company, what do they do for me? Well, they searched out talent. They interviewed talent. They matched talent. And then they scheduled a meeting with me to determine if this person was a fit. So I had my own interview. These things make a huge difference in your ability to find the talent you're looking for. So if you can't do this yourself, the VA companies are huge for this, and they can save you tons of time, right? Time and money. And they can get straight to the point. They can get straight to the point of helping you find the resources that you are looking for. And that can be a huge difference in your ability to be successful in your business as soon as possible. Because all this is about time. All this is about speeding up time. All this is about getting to an outcome faster, right? And if you're not able to get there faster by yourself, you gotta have your team in place. And again, team is inclusive of AI and all other tech tools and all other subscriptions that you use, as well as people, right? And when we talk about tech tools, like I use a platform called Jotform a lot, right? You heard me say Asana a lot. Neither are AI driven or AI led, but these platforms are overly used in my business. And if it's not these platforms, it'll be replaced by other platforms. So it's not about these tools per se. It's about the fact that we utilize these apps and others to make a difference in producing more, right? It's all about more. More for who? More for our customers, more for their customers, more for us, more for the future. Because if you follow this channel, we plan a lot, we think strategically a lot, and we're constantly in this mode of thinking about where's the next blue ocean, right? We do this within the context of our business. We do this in the context of serving our customers, but that blue ocean comes by way of staying focused on being good, right? Moving to great, utilizing tools, and then utilizing, watch this, people, and then ultimately systems. Systems is the way that we do business. How we do business. Super important, y'all. So keep these things in mind as we continue to kind of do our thing today. As we are navigating this co-working time, think about these things in the chat. What tools are you utilizing to make a difference in your business? Let's talk about it in the chat. Let's keep working. Something else that I used to do when I was starting out in business, and even before like this current business, I believe in matrix teams. Now, what does that mean? That means that these are people who are not dedicated to your cause, who are not dedicated to your business, who are not dedicated to your project. However, matrix teams are filled with people who flow in and out of the project at any given time because they've been brought in to do a thing in the midst of multiple steps, and then they're gone once they're completed. I learned this when I was working in IT at Aetna, and learned about matrix teams and how they work, because we had engineers and designers and architects who were floating between multiple projects, and they only were available for X number of time after their current project was over. And so when they were available, then we would be able to work with them and put them on the project schedules. As a project planner in the IT department, we were heavily relying upon matrix teams to be efficient and effective. And I brought that thought process to the work that I'm doing now, or at least prior to, and it's an effective way. So if you have friends who are really, really good at something, think about how matrix teams can be helpful to you. How do we want to do this? Yeah, so think about how matrix teams can be helpful to you. Matrix, study that. And so when you have teams or people who are really, really good at something, right, and they say yes to helping you, then what you got to do to be effective is you got to plan the inclusion of them in your work. So you're going to have to be effective in time management. You have to be effective in resource management. You have to be effective in forecasting need, because when people start to say yes and they start to help you, you got to figure out what's the best way to use it, what's the best way to engage them so that they don't feel like their time is wasted, particularly if you're not paying them. And speaking of that, so if you want to use matrix teams too, this can also be a great budgetary tool. So let's think about this, because a VA company is going to cost you money on a per month basis as long as you have money in your account, right? So that will cost you some money. Some plans, I don't know what they are now, but they can start as little as in the 500s. If you're going to have a dedicated staff person and go all the way up into the thousands. If you utilize an Upwork, you can do the same thing where you can pay, on a monthly basis for access for this person, or you can pay per project, right? And that may be affordable to you. But again, same concept. You're going to have to be effective at time management and at resource management and forecasting. So if you're going to work with people who are in a matrix environment, particularly if they are friends of yours, one of the things you got to think about when it comes to the matrix is, if they want to get paid or I want to pay them, what do I do? Don't underestimate the power of stipends. Don't underestimate the power of milestone compensation. Stipends is what it sounds like. It's almost like an allowance, right? You set aside a budget based on what you have. It may not be a lot, it doesn't matter, but you set aside a budget for what you have, and you tell folks, hey, friend, if you're able to help me solve this problem, here's my budget, and I'm willing to pay $50, right? I can pay $50, and you can combine the stipends with the milestone, but let's say $50 a week just to support me. No hours, no mins and maxes. I have a thing that needs to get done. Can you help me? $50 a week, and let's do this for 8 weeks. Right? That's all I got. In other places, you may say, hey, friend, I have $50. Can you complete the following tasks for me? I got 3 things that need to get done. Can you do this? 1, 2, 3. They're going to say yes, no. And if they say no, move on to the next friend. Now, this also works. This milestone concept and the stipend concept, which you can combine. This works in Upwork. This works in Fiverr. How do I know? I've done it successfully. And you may find that, hey, I got $50 at a time because I'm budgeting it from my current income. and I can spend $50 every week, every 2 weeks, to get staff support for X, Y, and Z. If you do a good job at forecasting, right, and time management, resource management, this $50 can go a long way. And then let me just put this here in red. Let me tell you, this becomes a huge opportunity when you can say, hey, all I have is $50, but I have these things that need to get done. Can you support me, help me? If it's a friend, they may say yeah. And you might be surprised because some people need a side hustle, but they don't want to drive Uber. They don't want to do Lyft. They don't want to do Uber Eats. They don't want to do any of the other things that everybody else is doing. They may say, man, I love to be at my spare time. Sure, I'll help you. And the crazy part about all this is that when you hire people to do this, whether it's a friend or whether it's off of Upwork or Fiverr, people tend to do these things faster because they are smarter than you, right? And they're more efficient than you. This means productivity goes up tremendously. You got to leverage your resources. So when we talk about building resources, building a team, look at this thing now. It starts to make sense. Y'all can zoom in and replay this and get whatever you need from this. It starts to make sense. And again, it's not about saying, hey, spend thousands of dollars. I understand sometimes you may feel like, hey, that's all I got to do is spend thousands of dollars and have a team. No, there's more affordable ways. Again, you got AI, you got tools, you got systems, you got apps, and you got people in an affordable way. Transformative. Done this many times and it still works. If you've done this too, in the chat, leave some comments, thoughts. How has this worked for you? Let's talk about it. Y'all hanging in there? Hope you're doing all right. Hope that you're grinding away. Hope that this co-working session is helpful to you and inspiring you. We've talked about AI. We've talked about working with teams. We've talked about being more effective at what we do. And yeah, we can make it happen. We can make it happen. You are more than enough. You're more than capable of making this happen. But you can do it by yourself. You can do it by yourself. All right, y'all. We're about to wrap this up. I hope that this co-working session was helpful to you. Again, we talked about we spent a lot of time today developing strategies to produce more, and so that's what I was working on today. And when we talk about producing more, we're talking about producing more resources, more tools for ourselves, for our business. Key for ourselves and for our business first, and then our customers. Why do we do that? Because your ability to develop these tools for your customers, right, comes from, and this is what I've learned, it comes from experience that you've developed tools that you use and you believe in. And a lot of the things that I share with my customers and a lot of the tools that I share with them comes from personal experiences that I've had where I've built these tools myself as a practitioner in a nonprofit space, as well as for my business. And because I built it to solve a particular problem for me, I immediately realized, oh, this tool will work for customer X, or it will work for all these other customers that we have in our portfolio. Transformative opportunities that are then afforded to us to improve our ability to serve. And the reality is, our customers, they may not say this, but the idea that we're constantly looking out for them and that we are looking out for their well-being, their good, it's expected. And so if you're going to be great at customer service, you're going to be great at serving your customers, you got to constantly think of them and think of ways to meet their needs. Now, you can rack your brain on how to do that. But one of the strategies I want to share with you that helps you get to that point is realizing that you can do that by serving the needs that you have, particularly if the things that you do are significantly and meaningfully related to the work of your customers. Right? It's a great example. If you're utilizing tools to collect data, for the sake of argument, right? And you know that this is not only a need of yours, but it's a need of your customers. It makes a lot of sense to realize that my customers are going to need this too. And they can benefit from this. So if I can figure this out to meet my specific need, the algorithms, the structure, the positioning, the placement, the usage, the interpretation of the data, the frequency, the consistency, if I can figure it out for me and I have a vested interest in me, then I can easily see, study, and learn how to convey this same opportunity to my customers because they're going to need this too. It's huge. Right, so this thoughtfulness of expanding what you do to the needs of others is just simply looking at how do you solve problems for you, and sometimes vice versa, where a customer approaches you and says, "Hey, I have something that needs to be addressed or resolved. Can you help?" Right, and if it's within your wheelhouse, of course you're going to say yes. And then if it's in your wheelhouse even more, what you're going to say is, "Well, listen, we're going to solve this. We're going to try to address this." And we're going to try to make sure this is a sustainable solution. And what you discover is that the solution you develop for your customer might just work for you and other people too. So when we talk about constant learning, constant development, constant growth, this consistency and constant evolution you're going through is natural. It should be natural. And that natural growth happens because you're solving problems always. It's not about the bottom line. It's not about you figuring out how to make more money because that naturally comes. It's about how do I solve more problems? How do I create more processes? How do I create more systems? How do I do greater, better work for me and my customers? Now, as a believer, as a Christian, this is what we're taught. We're taught love God first, right? So love our Creator first, and the second commandment is to love our neighbor as self. Now, here's where people kind of lose sight a little bit of the focus. You can't love your neighbor well unless and until you love yourself first and best. This is not about selfishness. This is about prioritization. How can you give something great to somebody that you have not given to yourself or haven't mastered for yourself? And so when we talk about serving your needs first, it's not about saying me, me, me. It's about saying intrinsically, I need to think about how can we get better? How can we improve? How can we advance our work to do more and serve more and to be better at our craft? And as I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about the broader needs of those that I serve, my customers, and the customers I'm looking to attract, the messages I'm looking to convey. So the more you love yourself, provide the best for yourself, solve problems for yourself, right? You're able to do the same for your customer. And this is huge. So this is important for us to think about, right? So we did this today, developing strategies to produce more. This track is kind of hit. It's kind of a distraction. There's a variation of the track I've heard elsewhere, and haven't heard it in a while. Sorry, y'all, got a little distracted. This is part of the co-working live stream that happens where you get distracted by this stuff that's happening. You still got to keep the grind going. So developing strategies to produce more. Don't forget this. Then we talked about leveraging AI, how to use AI appropriately in your business, how to effectively create a situation where AI is a part of your team. I'm gonna add a title here. We also talked about how to leverage human resources. Let's type that word out, human resources, to help you achieve your goals. Yeah, so let's go back to AI first. So we talked about how AI is a useful tool if used smart, because it's there to help think with you, right? This is the mentality that we've had here as AI has exploded. But again, AI has been around for a very long time. If you think about, depending on how old you are, go back to your word processing software and the inclusion of autocorrect, right? So you didn't have to learn how to spell these words correctly, but you just could start to articulate a word through your typing and it will pop up for you. You click the button and it'll correct. Or it will highlight with the squiggly line all the issues that are identified in your document by saying this word is misspelled wrong. Add a hyphen here, add a period here. That's AI. A slower functioning version of AI, but AI. So it's been around. We've been using it. So now it's advancing to a point where it processes information. Now, think about this. ChatGPT and what it does, Perplexity and other similar platforms, all it's doing, and just to help folks kind of process this, all it's doing is doing what Google has been doing for us for years, which is identifying information and it's bringing information to our fingertips. The difference between Google and ChatGPT is that Google gives you a list of options. ChatGPT says, here it is. Here's the answer. No sorting through. Here's the answer. And in both cases, whether you're using Google, whether you're using ChatGPT, whether you're using Perplexity or any other platform, you still have to play a role in assessing the information to determine its usefulness. So when you go to Google and you put in a search for anything, and it feeds you with options based upon your query, you're still sorting through which sites to click on based upon the needs, based upon your goals, based upon what you're trying to find. It's not a blanketed acceptance of whatever's on the front page. You still have to process and think. For those of you who are scared of ChatGPT, it's the same concept. Now, what ChatGPT forces you to do, this is the amazing part. I learned this early on in the process. It forces you to still be a competent expert in the information. You're feeding it and you're processing from it. I gotta tell you, and I remember I did a whole lot of doctoral work around self-leadership. Did a whole lot of master's work and doctoral work around leadership in general. And I cultivated a thought process about leadership that I've gathered from my research and from my writing, and it is ingrained in me. If I type in what is leadership to ChatGPT, matter of fact, let's do that right now. Whoop. I want to see what happens. I typed in what is leadership, what is its definition. It said leadership is the process of influencing, guiding, and directing individuals or groups to achieve a common goal. Here's the crazy part. Now see this line here, I have been utilizing that line for quite some time. That is partly the line I would use. It involves inspiring, motivating others to contributes their best efforts towards success in an organization. It's a great definition. I can tell you if I did not type this in, what I would define leadership as is the ability to influence others to achieve a common goal. It added guiding and directing, right? It's about influencing others to achieve a common goal. Influence can happen. This is me looking. Let me look at the camera. Influence can happen through positive and negative means. It can happen through bullying. It can happen through blackmail. It can happen through inspiration. It can happen through thought-provoking conversations. It can happen through this live stream. That the ability to inspire you and to inspire others to achieve a common goal. It can happen at any time through any mechanism. So, what is the common goal of this live stream and the ones like it? We're co-working. The goal of this live stream is to be here with you and to give you a place of focus and work virtually so you can build your business, build your nonprofit, build your program. Maybe you're in class, you're in school now. Maybe you're just thinking, maybe you just like the idea of watching this, whatever. The goal is that we co-work together to do something, to accomplish something. Maybe you're in the kitchen cooking and you're wrapping up this live stream. And you've learned something while cooking that, hey, let me use ChatGPT a lot more effectively to build my recipes. Maybe I can use others to help build my recipes, humans, through the platforms we talked about. We'll talk about that in a minute as we recap. It's all about influence. And so I can tell you this because I've studied this and I've invested my time. What is self-leadership without even looking at ChatGPT? I define this thing based upon the work of Drs. Neck and Dr. Christopher Neck and Mans. Is defined as the ability to influence yourself to achieve a goal. Influencing self. Leadership is about influencing others. Self-leadership is about influencing me to achieve a goal. 3 stools, 3 legs of self-leadership: cognitive strategies, behavioral strategies, and natural rewards. I don't even care what ChatGPT says. And if I put it in, it might put it in the definition I gave it just because I've been feeding it so long. But this is the known definition. And here's the thing. If you studied something and invested your time in something, you will naturally master that content, and it will be here in your head and here in the heart. That's where it will be. So your ability to do that matters because the information you get out of ChatGPT may be inaccurate or it may not be specific enough to what you're trying to accomplish. So don't be afraid of AI. Rather, utilize it as a tool to help you think, to help you process, to help you navigate through whatever you're trying to navigate through. I'm sorry, y'all, if the music's been loud. My volume has been low here, and I just turned it up in the headset. So sorry if it's been loud all this time. I'll turn it down a little bit. But listen, it's all about mastering the content. And you got to remember this. You got to remember that you are the master of this content, and the tool is there to help think with you. That's what we've been talking about today. I'm sure we'll get into this more. I've been very reluctant to talk about this with AI because I'm not necessarily an expert in this, and I'm not interested in becoming that or talking about that. However, just like any other user, questions arise. How do you use it? And how do you leverage it to be successful and impactful? The advances of ChatGPT now, where you can have conversations with the AI tool like you're talking to a person, and it will have a conversation with you and help think with you about any and everything. Transformative. For those of you who don't have teams, you got a virtual team that's literally at your fingertips on your cell phone, on your tablet, on your laptop. And it may cost you a couple of dollars a month, but that money you're spending is so worth it, because now what you'll learn is that I get to get thoughts out of my head, process it with obviously AI that's being fed information, and I can get somewhere because I can think with it. I can process differently. I can consider this and consider that versus waiting to have a coffee meetup with somebody or waiting for the co-working live stream. Powerful. Then we lastly talked about how to leverage human resources to help you achieve your goals. So we talked about the use of VA companies. We listed Pyro Planning. We listed Time Etc. We listed Zerto. We listed Belay Solutions. Work with all of them. They all have their strengths that could be super helpful. They all cost money too. I remember the year my dad passed, and our business was humming along. My dad passed, and I had to shut down operations for 2 months. 2 weeks rather, to assist my mom and my brother and to go through the process of burying my father. The business kept going and we were doing okay. But I heard from a friend of mine say, hey man, you need to consider, hiring a VA. And I said, man, I thought about it, but thank you for that. And as soon as I got back and got things settled, looked it up and hired my first VA company and purchased a plan that I could afford with my salary and with the income we were making, because I had a job at the time, but the income we were making from the business. I picked the plan that was most affordable to me and never looked back. And it's been a ride. And we can talk about this in future live streams, what it looks like to work with VAs, lessons learned, good, the bad, the ugly. I've also worked with Fiverr and Upwork. Been successful utilizing folks from there too. And I'm sure there are other platforms other people use. If you have some others that you've used that I have not mentioned, put them in the chat. I'm working with Pinji.co right now. They're not a VA company, but they almost act like a VA company specifically for graphic design. We can talk about that too in future streams and my journey with that. I can just say that if I'm mentioning the companies, I'm mentioning them because you might want to look into them. That's all I'm gonna say. It's something to learn and gather from these companies. And so these are more affordable options to consider. Maybe in future live streams, we'll talk about how I leverage cheaper options, right? Because even when you use these companies, the lowest option may be several hundreds of dollars and maybe beyond your budget. So you got to go a little cheaper at Upwork and Fiverr. So in this live stream, we covered a couple of strategies on how to utilize that. Utilizing, what do we call it? We call it the milestone method and the stipend method. So replay that, rewind that, rewatch this live stream to get that information. But listen, I hope this co-working session was good for you. I appreciate you hanging out with me. This is something that's been on my heart to do for quite a while, just never pulled the trigger. And, we've done a couple of these. So I'm hopeful that this is helpful. Now, listen, if you want to get in touch with me, if you're a nonprofit and you're a founder and you're looking to build your nonprofit, or you're leading a mature organization and you want to talk about your capacity building projects, specifically around strategic planning, fundraising, and leadership development, give me a shout. Go to drwilliampclark.com and schedule your free consultation. I'll be glad to speak with you. And I hope this is helpful. And if the good Lord allows it, we'll see y'all next time. See everybody.